Now that is what I am talking about. What is up, everybody? It is your local Ottawa fan, and I'm here to talk about the 23-19 home opener win for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. A good way to start the season against a supposed to be really good Winnipeg team. Now, Winnipeg is still yet to win a game all season. They faced the defending Grey Cup champion Montreal Alouettes in week 1 where they lost, and then they faced us and they lost again. And Winnipeg's at 0-2, we're at 1-0, so good start to the season for us. Now, the thing that gives me a lot of hope is they are supposed to be a good team. I don't think that Winnipeg is going to be a, bottom of the barrel team. I don't think they're going to be basement dwellers. I've seen some people online being like, this is it. Blue Bombers are cooked. My hope is that they just faced two really good teams. And I think that's the thing. I think everybody says they're cooked because the assumption is that the REDBLACKS are going to suck this season, and wow, you just lost to the REDBLACKS, you're going to suck too. My hope is that give it 2-3 months' time, and everybody's going to be saying, oh wow, the Bombers are doing pretty good this season. The reason why they lost 2 games right out the gate is because they faced 2 of the best teams in the league. That's the hope. But let's also take a step back. It was a good game. And it was the exact kind of game that I was hoping for. I said earlier in the season that if we wanted to win, what we were going to need to do is have our defense, play well, defend well. And we would need our offense to just keep us in it. Just keep us in it. And we would need our defense and our special teams to be really good. I think that that's going to be the backbone of this team. And honestly, that's kind of how the game played out. Our defense was great. You'd say they gave up 19 points. They gave up 17 points because we purposefully gave up the last 2 points so that we could eat up as much clock as possible, which was a very smart, genius play. Take the safety. We're still up. We're still up by more than a field goal thanks to a rouge that we got towards the end of the game, which is really good thing that we get that rouge because it kept the difference just enough that we could afford a safety and Winnipeg would still not be able to tie the game with a field goal. And so if you actually look at points that the defense allowed, it was 17. And that's pretty good, especially against a team. I get that, this isn't the strongest the Bombers have been. Probably of the past 5 seasons, this could be the weakest version of them. We'll see as the season goes on. But this was not a preseason game anymore. This was not a practice squad. This was a good team with what was supposed to be the best quarterback in the league who did not throw a single touchdown pass but did throw 2 interceptions. We intercepted Collaros twice. He did not get a single passing touchdown. Drew Brown has more passing touchdowns this season than Zach Collaros. Let that sink in. I get that it's so 2 games for them, 1 game for us, but those are the kinds of things that you want to see. That our defense went blow for blow with them, and when it mattered most, our offense came out on top. And above all else, games being decided in the final minute. There was a weather delay with 2 minutes, 9 seconds left, and there was a small part of me I was kind of hoping that would just end the game because I thought to myself, we lose so many games in the final minute. So if the final minute doesn't even happen and we have a lead, great, there you go. That isn't what happened. No, we ended up going back and finishing the game. And in the final minute, that's when we secured the game. That's when we got a huge stop. They got down to our 7 or 8 yard line. And first and goal, we got to stop. Okay, incomplete pass. Second and goal. What should have been a touchdown if it was not for an amazing play. Just a huge play by Damian Webb to get an amazing block, deflect the ball away, and bring up 3rd down where Malden gets a sack and ends any realistic chance of Winnipeg getting back in it. Then we get back on the field. We run the ball twice. We can't get the 1st down, but we force Winnipeg to burn their 2 timeouts while eating a little bit of time. And we make a genius call of taking the safety, get the clock down to 15 seconds, and they're forced to start in their own territory. They get a Hail Mary. It does, even if it was caught, it wouldn't have been caught in the end zone. There were Red Blacks all over. They knock it down, and the game is over. So, in the final minute, where we've lost so many games, where our defense would give up the big touchdown, our offense wouldn't come up big, that didn't happen. In the fourth quarter, when we were starting to fall off the rails, we needed our offense to show up, and what happened? They got a touchdown. They got the game-winning touchdown. So I'll break it down a bit more. You know, I actually put it down like basically drive by drive. So I don't think I'm going to be able to talk about every little thing that I want to talk about. Early, Acklin almost got a big play. It gets broken up, but I'm liking the chemistry between Acklin and Drew Brown. I think that we might see a nice return to form for Acklin. Not to say that he wasn't great last season, but like I think we could see, you know, one of his better seasons, not just with the Red Blacks, but in general, like in the CFL. Good player who I think we're going to see great things from, and I've always felt that he was not used well, and I think a big part of that is we didn't have, you know, a star QB, a really good, solid starting QB. I think since Trevor Harris, our best QB has honestly been Justin Brown. Everybody else has either barely played for us. Like, yes, Mazzoli would be great. I think if Mazzoli gets healthy, unless we are like, you know, really early in the season or like 9-0, I think there's a good chance Mazzoli will get the start. I think the only way that Mazzoli has no chance, at least, of getting the start, you know, it might be a game time decision. If Mazzoli is healthy, like 100% ready to play, it could end up being a game time decision between him and Drew Brown, unless Drew Brown is just so clearly the guy. But right now, yeah, he looks like the guy. He looks like the best quarterback we have had since we've made the postseason. Because that's what you need. And for our good, you know, our good receivers, I felt that there were a lot of times where I was like, you know, if you had a quarterback who could throw those dimes, who could escape pressure, get out of the pocket when it's collapsing, and do something, I mean, that would make a whole lot of a difference. And that's what I saw from Drew Brown today. Was he perfect? No. Is he the best quarterback in the league? No. But is he a starter caliber quarterback? 100%. 100%. He just went against his old team. He won. He won. He led the team to 23 points. Got 2 touchdown drives. Yes, you know, our special teams did very well with returns. And again, 2 picks is very good. But at the end of the day, when it was time to get the offense going, they got going. 2 touchdowns in this economy, in this city? You're kidding. Both of them scored by the offense, not like, oh, 2 touchdowns, but like one was a special teams return or a pick 6. No, just straight up offensive touchdowns. And I think that, you know, from what I've seen, his connection with Acklin, it's going to be good this season, I think. We got a big play from Addison. Addison had a great game. Great game. Addison and Armstead, standout games. And Hardy. Those 3 players were vital on this offense, getting the points that we needed. And, of course, Lewis Ward. 3 for 3. And not all of them were easy. Some of them were, some of them weren't. But everyone who needed to do good did good. And I think that is what is most vital here. There have been so many lost seasons because there just wasn't enough there. Or when somebody needed to step up, they really didn't. Sure, we didn't blow them out. Sure, it wasn't perfect. But when we needed to step up, we stepped up. We get 2nd and 10 incomplete. Offsides makes it 2nd and 5. And it almost gets intercepted. field goal, goes up by 3. And that did scare me, I will admit, because we had a good drive going, and I was thinking back to every other Red Black season where we would get close, or we would get deep into their territory. We would kick a field goal. I mean, when you get within their 10 and you kick a field goal, there was that voice in the back of my head saying, "Oh gosh, here we go. We're going to get a lot of good drives that stall out." But that's not what happens. Our defense does well. It's not a 3-and-out, but it might as well be. Or it is a 3-and-out. Yeah, not a 2-and-out, it might as well be, because it's a 3-and-out. They get a first down and then stop, then we get the ball back. And Ackland gets a big catch. We get a huge run, get to midfield, and second down sack, but doesn't matter, because again, our defense shows up, 2-and-out. Two short runs brings up a third down, and we convert. First and goal, second and goal, Dustin Crum, touchdown, 10-0 Ottawa. Great first quarter. Honestly, no notes on the first quarter. We played really well. Our defense completely stuffed them. It looked like Winnipeg was right at the start of the second. It looks like Winnipeg's going to get a reception. Instead, it gets deflected and intercepted, and then we get called for pass interference. And if there's one thing that I really did not like from this game, it was our penalties. 9 penalties for 105 yards. That's almost an entire football field worth of penalties. Like, that's practically a touchdown that we gave up. Basically, it is. In terms of yards that we gave away, yeah, it is almost the length of a field. And there were a few times where our drive could have extended and probably would have led to more points on the board if it wasn't for a penalty. I think there was one I want to say the third quarter, but I might be misremembering. Second or third quarter, where it looked like we got a first down deep in Winnipeg territory, and penalty got it called back. There were a few times where penalties kept drives alive for Winnipeg, drives that they ultimately scored on. So that's one thing we need to shore up. Our discipline was not there. 9 penalties is not good. But the very next play, after the PI, we get a pick. No flags this time. We're able to move the ball. And again, holding penalty leads us to having to settle for a field goal. We were moving the ball well. We get a holding penalty. And what could have been a touchdown, I think that's actually the play that I was talking about. What looked like it was going to be another touchdown drive ultimately leads to a field goal. I'm not complaining. 13-0 is still a good lead. And we don't get much. Winnipeg gets a little bit going, but we hold them only to a field goal, 13-3. And while we punt away our next possession quickly, and Winnipeg gets a huge first down, getting like to our 50-yard line, or getting 50 yards into our 30, and then we almost get a pick in the end zone, incomplete, and yeah, here it is. And then we get a huge sack on, I want to say, third down. They got a first at our and 10 at our 25. We hit the 3-minute warning. We almost got a pick in our end zone. I've got to really read my notes. Football's a little. You gotta really make sure you're following the first and 10s and the second and whatnot. But yeah, a huge sack gets called back for roughing the passer, and then Winnipeg gets a touchdown. I'm pretty sure that was third down. I didn't write in my notes what down it was. But in either case, a sack pushes them a lot further back, and it makes a touchdown just not going to happen. They get an incomplete pass and then a sack. In either case, holding them to 3 would have been huge. Instead, they get the touchdown. It's a 3-point game. If it wasn't for that roughing the passer, it was a little light, but at the end of the day, if you don't get it, that's just a big sack. And in the final drive of the first half, we do ultimately kick a field goal. So we go up 16-10 in a halftime. Up by a major, which is nice, but not a major and an extra point, which isn't as nice. It was a good first half, though. It was a good first half. We held them to 10. And second half is where it got a little rocky. Honestly, it's not even that bad. They only they only got a touchdown. It's just that our offense was starting to stall out a little bit. The third quarter, we did not get any points on the board. None. And we gave up a touchdown. And they were getting a few more, like, guys wide open. Like, Winnipeg was just finding guys who had no one around them. And they were getting big, big gains. And we got them to third down. And we give up a touchdown. And they lead by 1. They got within our 5. We hold them first down. We hold them second down. And on third down, they get in. And part of me was thinking, welcome to Ottawa REDBLACKS football, everyone. This is what we do. We have leads, and then we stall out. Then the second half hits, and we stall out. And our offense, who for some reason was doing pretty well in the first half, just ceases to exist in the second. And our defense starts giving up big plays, and we fumble the game away. And this is where things changed. We do have a drive that stalls out near midfield, punt it away, and after the punt, we take a misconduct foul, which again, discipline. And while it looked like Winnipeg was supposed to get an intentional grounding and didn't get called, next play we got to pick. Doesn't matter. And we need to make use of the momentum shift, 2 and out. Again, it feels like the same old team, the same old story, 2 and out, 2 and out. Our offense can't get anything. We stick them at their own 6. And they go for it, 3rd and 1, within their own 20. Personally, I wouldn't make that call if I was their coach. I don't think that the reward is worth the risk. Yeah, it's only 1 yard, but if you mess it up, like, you're only up by 1. It's 17-16. You've given us the lead. But they get it. And we keep the pressure up, though. We sack them, and we get the ball back. And this is exactly what I mean of, high risk, low reward. Ultimately, look at what happened. We got the ball back. They didn't gain too many yards. Like, your punt went a little bit further, and you risked giving it to us at your 20. But didn't matter where we got it, because this drive, we are clicking. Tom Hardy, huge play, gets it up to their 6, and then first down, we don't get it in. Second down, touchdown pass to Tom Hardy, and we lead 23-17. We go for 2. I am not mad at going for 2. We didn't get it, but you got to go for 2. We're up by 5. Up by 5, up by 6. Honestly, it's the same thing. A touchdown will kill you. Because if they get a touchdown and you're up by 6, well, they're probably going to get the extra point, and then you lose by 1. So I get going for 2, because in either case, a touchdown will kill you. It's just you got to avoid 2 field goals. And ultimately, we didn't have to worry about that, because we got to stop almost immediately, and we got to stop because they keep holding us, actually. They hold us, it goes to 1st and 10. They hold us again. It could have been 1st and 30. Instead, we make it 2nd and 20. Nobody is going to succeed on 2nd and 20. And no surprise, they don't convert. We get the ball back near midfield. And even though we almost gave up a pick, we don't. We punt it away. We get the Rouge. Puts us up by 6 anyways. So this ensures that 2 field goals, we'd still be alive. And this does the other thing, like I said, of ensuring that a safety wouldn't be the end of the world. If you're up by 5 and you give up a safety, well, now they only need a field goal to tie it. If you're up by 6 and you take a safety, you're in the exact same boat of you just got to avoid a touchdown. Everything else, and you're pretty much good. And that's when 2 minutes come up. Winnipeg is clicking. They're moving down the field. They're getting close. It's getting scary. The rain comes. It passes. It looked for a minute like the game might get called. I'm glad that this is not how the game ended. There was a part of me that was worried as Winnipeg's offense was clicking. They were moving the ball. There was a part of me that was thinking, oh man, maybe if the game just gets called here, a win's a win. A win is a win. I'm glad that we won for real. I'm glad that we actually won. And part of me is actually a little bit glad that Winnipeg still did well when they came back. Winnipeg can't really say, oh, well, if it wasn't for the weather delay, we definitely would have scored a touchdown. They still had momentum. They still were pretty far. I think they were at like our 40-yard line. They got down to our 7. So how do you account for those 33 yards if it's the weather that got in your heads? Clearly, they were still doing well. Their offense was still clicking. Our defense just played good. Our defense just beat them. And like I said, I'm happy with this game. Our defense played really well, only giving up, even if you include the safety, we held them to under 20. The team as a whole held our opponents to less than 20 points and got 23. And I think that's how we're going to win games. I don't see us winning too many high-scoring games. I don't. Like, I feel like if there's a game where, like, 35 points are scored by either team, that's probably a game that we lose. But if we get a lot of games where we can hold them, not even just to under 20, I'd say within, like, 24 or under. If we can hold them to, like, 3 touchdowns and a field goal minimum or less, I think those are games that we could realistically win. I mean, here we got 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals, a rouge. Nice little smorgasbord of points. This is the type of team that I think we need to make the next step. And I'm not going to sit here and act like we're Grey Cup contenders. It'd be nice. It's a nice thought. We aren't. Right now, I don't think we're at that phase of contending for a championship. But we're a playoff hopeful. We're a playoff contender. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The nice thing about playoff contenders, the nice thing about playoff teams, is it gives you permission to hope. Ottawa football, there's been no hope. Year in, year out, basically halfway through the season, we know we're done. I can't remember the last time the final game of the season actually mattered for the Red Blacks. Like, it tangibly meant something other than maybe deciding if our opponents would be the 1st or 2nd seed or not. We're always done. Making the playoffs, it allows you to hope. It allows you to say, well, you never know. Look at Montreal. Everyone said Toronto was going to kill them. They were done. They're going to lose to Toronto in the Eastern Final. But they were allowed to hope, and look at that, they beat Toronto. Oh, they're going to get destroyed by the Bombers. Are you kidding me? The Blue Bombers have made it to the Grey Cup for their 4th straight year. They've won 2 out of the 3 past Grey Cups. Bombers are going to destroy Montreal. But Montreal, they got a ticket to the big dance. That's all you need. They won the thing. They won the whole thing. Look at the Red Blacks. When we won the Grey Cup, in the Eastern Final and in the Grey Cup, we were the underdogs. Everyone said we weren't going to win. And we won. If you make the playoffs, you can make magic happen. You can. But if you don't make the playoffs, you can't even hope. I don't think that we're Grey Cup contenders. But I think that if we play more games like this, we can make the playoffs. Our stat lines are pretty good. 238 passing yards, 129 rushing yards, 331 net yards. It's pretty good. Especially rushing, 129 rushing yards. I know Winnipeg did not get much going on the ground. Passing, they had a little bit better than us passing yards, but not a whole lot, and we killed them rushing yards. Penalties, I think, was our biggest issue. We got 3 sacks for 16 yards. It's not a lot of yards that, we got, but sacks are sacks. Even 1-yard sacks are good because A, you're getting to the quarterback before you could even make a play. And B, that's a down that's lost, and that's a loss of yards. That's always good. In any situation, that's good for your defense. 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions, plus we didn't have any. 0 interceptions from Drew Brown and a touchdown pass. 3 field goals. Are there things to work on? Sure. But this was a very good start for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. And I hope that they are able to continue this throughout the rest of the season. Get those wins that matter. Get those big wins. And as always, go, Ottawa, go!